So, here we are. I mentioned there was 3 really good indie titles that came out this year, and this is the third one, and this is the one I think is the best. You can disagree with me on that, so that's fine, but in terms of, like, what this game was, it was just the most fun to play. It was just, there was so much good things happening in it. So, I guess there's a bit of a story to this game, too. I didn't really know much about the company that made this game, WayForward, until last year, and that's because they had this Kickstarter starting right after Mighty No. 9's Kickstarter ended, for their character Shantae. Now, I had heard about Shantae a long time ago, back in 2002 when the original game came out. I never played it because I was in the Game Boy Color, and I was like, it's in the Game Boy Color, I have a Game Boy Advance now, so I want to play a Game Boy Advance game. Dumb reasoning. Didn't get a chance to play it then, but then after the whole Kickstarter thing started, I saw like what they were doing, and I was just kind of like, I'm interested. And so, over pretty much the process of the end of 2013, I played almost all the WayForward games, and they're all solid. They're just really good games. They make great games. They're all kind of short. I don't want, like, anytime you say a game is short, like, that's always sounds like it's a bad thing. But there's nothing wrong with the game being short. As long as the game itself, like, is a blast to play, like, that's gonna make you want to play it again. It's gonna make you want to do other stuff with the game. So, a game's length should never be the crutch that you hold it by. That should be just kind of like, that's like, oh, well, it was a bit short, but, you know, whatever. It was super fun to play. And Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, the new one that came out after being pushed back for how many ever times it came out, so whatever, is just, it's pretty much that. It's one of the best games that they have made so far. I think once their Kickstarter Half Genie's Hero comes out, that'll probably be even better. But they just put so much effort into it. So I guess, like, I'll explain. Shantae games are platformer games. They're not similar to the Mega Man type games like Shovel Knight and Zero Striker were. They're more kind of Metroid-like games. Metroid/Zelda-ish games. You traverse a map. It's a large world map. You have to, like, kind of keep track of where locations are, and you go and you beat dungeons through platforming and lots of different stuff. You pick up different tools along the way, or different, the old one's transformations, but in this one it's tools for reasons I won't say. It kind of spoils the end of the second game, so if you didn't play the second game and you start with this one, there's going to be a major spoiler from right off the get-go about why the third game's even happening right now. But they're just, like, really fun, and there's a lot of cool different things designed. I think what was really funny is that when I finished the game, the composer, Jake Kaufman, there's his name again, he shows up again. He was the main composer for WayForward until, I think, recently. I think he's still going to be doing contract stuff with them, like freelance stuff, but he is freelance now, so he's not officially employed by WayForward anymore. But he has made all this great music for WayForward, and it's always great. But anyways, that's besides the point. I'll talk about the music in just a little bit. What I want to say is that I beat the game, and then I'm just like, this is great. I just, like, kind of tweeted out to everyone, like, this is, like, good job on this. And he tweets me back, like, well, you know, the game was made for speedrunning, so you should go and speedrun it. I'm just like, oh, okay. And yeah, there's a mode where you can start with all the equipment right away. And it's kind of really cool how they design the game, because you get the mindset of, like, how they design things. Like, some of the weapons that you have to get and pick up in dungeons are purposely put out of the way. But if you have that weapon when you get to that dungeon, you can just, like, skip half of it to get to the boss. And that's really cool. Overall, like, the sprite work is really good. They have these really cool portrait artworks that they had a ton of. Inti Creates actually did all those, so kudos to them again. After they already made Gunvolt. And the in-game sprites all look really great. I feel like they're kind of maybe just a little tad updated from the DS game, so they might not be the most impressive, but they're still, like, they work. And everything about them, they have, like, they even have the voice acting in the game. Not a ton, but a little bit, and it kind of gives more of the character of the world they're creating. I would say, like, there is one thing I disliked, and that's, like, it's kind of a minor thing, because you don't really think about it when you're playing it. But how they did the map, they kind of split it up into different sections, and they don't connect via walking. They connect via, you kind of have to travel there through different means. And I kind of would have liked if they were all, like, one giant Metroid map, because that would have been a lot more fun to me. But I understand why they did that, and it kind of works in their favor, because it kind of isolates the story to those parts, that's the other thing, is that it has a fantastic story. It's a very silly game, lots of jokes here and there, but all these characters have different personalities, they have different emotions. Like, you can kind of like get from these characters. Like, every time you meet a character, you understand that character's personality. And I really like that, because it's like, it's hard to tell that by just some pictures and dialogue. But they do a great job of expressing that. There's a lot of great writing. And of course, if you're speedrunning, you're not going to see any of that, so oops. But overall, it's really cool. It has a really cool final boss too. Like, it's a pretty intense final boss. There's a lot to debrief on it. It's like, there's a lot of good stuff in it. I like all the tools you get. They have like different kind of multi-purposes to them. Like, they're built, it's like built like a really good Metroid/Zelda game. I guess probably more Metroid in that sense, but if you really like Metroid type games, I would say this is like definitely. If you know about the Shantae series, definitely. If you have any interest in this game, definitely. It's like, if I had to pick like best indie game of the year, it would go to Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, just because there's a lot of good things going for it. And it's like, that's so hard to say, because there's the other two good ones that I already did in previous episodes of this, that I talked about, you know, Shovel Knight and Azure Striker Gunvolt, but just everything, like, it kind of was like, there's Shovel Knight, wow, that's surprising, that's really good. Here's Azure Striker, wow, you guys are back into crates, that's really good. And then it's like, here's WayForward. Holy crap, guys, you just freaking made another fantastic adventure that I just want to keep playing as many times as possible. And, like, I'm gonna get you more details into it, is that, like, the music, the more detailed about the game. I'm sorry that I keep, like, kind of mumbling in these, but I'm ranting, I'm gushing, and I'm just like, ugh. Listening to a track from it right now, actually. The music in this game is so good. What I love about it is that Jake Kaufman has been working on the series since it first started with the original Shantae game, and they've brought back a lot of tracks from the original game that have shown up in every game, and it's just really cool how every time this old track shows up, it's like, oh yeah, that tune! He just makes it something completely new. You know it's the old tune, but it sounds so different and so fresh. That's really cool. And that's like only like a fourth of the game's soundtrack is returning music. There's a lot of new music in the game, and all of it's really, really freaking good. I have this totally silly, but I have this playlist that is for nothing but like snowy music that I listen to during the holiday season. And there's two tracks in Shantae that are in this game that are snowy, and like I heard them like right away, and just like boom, those go on this playlist because they're so good. In fact, like I'm just gonna pause for a sec. Okay, that was silly because I just paused and probably moved that. I want to change the music I was listening to because I want to get the snow track going. And it's just like, there's so much depth into this music. It's so cool what he's able to accomplish as a composer. And like some of these like are natural sounds, some of these are more like synth sounds, but it's so good. And it's just like, it makes you just kind of want to stop playing. And just want, like, I just want to listen to the music. And you can. He has a website of all this stuff. You can go listen to the music there, or go buy it from him, because you should support him, because he's a fantastic composer. Yeah, like, it's all these fine details that come together and make this really fantastic adventure. The fact that you can do a speedrun of it, you can replay it multiple times, you can look for different things in multiple travels. There's apparently, like, hidden dungeons I didn't even know about until someone told me about them. And I'm just like, wow, like, there's a lot of stuff that you'll just miss. And the fact that you can keep going into this game and discovering new things every time, and it's always just the same joyful experience. That's like, it's a classic game now. Like, it's not even 2 months old at this point. It's a freaking classic game. If you have a 3DS, you should definitely pick this game up. I know it's a bit more pricier than the other two, Zero Striker and Shovel Knight, but I'd say it's worth it. They just put so much good detail into this game that you just kind of like, you're probably wondering, like, you know, KV, if you like this game so much, why isn't there, like, a Let's Play of it or a blind run, because you did the other two, and there's a reason for that, but I'm not going to tell you why right now. I was glad I just got to play on my own and kind of experience it. WayForward, I look forward to whatever next game you have coming out. I know next is Half Genie Hero, and I'm looking forward to that so much now, after you just made this really incredibly great game. Yeah, that's about it. Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, if you have not had a chance to play it, you should definitely play it. Easily the best of the indie trilogy I played this year. They're all good games. They're all good games. So don't say that I'm bashing any of them. Don't assume I'm bashing any of them. They're all good games. But Shantae just sits at the top as the cream of the crop. This is game design you want to see in every game you play. That's how good it is.